Welcome to the Goalie Mindset Podcast. My name is Pete Fry, the Goalie Mindset Guy, and my purpose is to help goalies have a dominating goalie career. Pete Fry, the Goalie Mindset Guy here, the Goalie Mindset Podcast. Welcome. I'm excited to have on here today from KO Sports player agent Jason Nicholetts. Jason, thanks for coming on, my friend. Nice to see you. I hurt my shoulder. I warned him about my shoulder. It's all good. That happens to me every time I shake hands. I got to give her one of these.
Dad always taught me to shake firm.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Anyways, I'm so excited to have Jason on here. Right, he helps hockey players navigate their hockey career, which is so important. So what I want to talk to Jason about today is I want to talk to him about his experience growing up as an athlete, because he played not just hockey, he played football and baseball. That's pretty amazing to play 3 sports. And why he does what he does now. What's the reason? How come Jason is now a player agent? What's his why behind him? So Jason, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thanks.
I should talk like you're here, right? And as opposed to like you're not here. So it's great to have you on.
Great to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. So talking, let's first dive into you. When did you first decide that you were going to play sports? How old were you, and what was it? Hockey? Was it baseball? Was it football? What was the first sport for you?
Well, this was back in the day when you could afford to play
more than one sport. Yes.
So my dad was an athlete.
Your dad was. Yeah, where did your dad play growing up? And
he was a hockey player, and actually broom ball was a big sport for him.
Really?
And baseball, yeah.
Broom ball.
Broom ball, yeah.
Wow. Were there goalies in broom ball?
Are
the nets bigger?
Nets are bigger.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it was just inbred, the same for my kids. I was an athlete. And we obviously want to put kids in team sports. I think it's valuable in life to work within an environment like that. So yeah, as far as I can remember, I was playing sports at a young age. So
dynamite. And so let's tell us about hockey first. What got you into hockey, and what position were you in, all that good stuff?
Dad was a coach.
Okay.
So Dad is now 79 and still coaches. Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
So
that's so good.
He put me in hockey, and then obviously being a competitive person, you just grow to love it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't remember what age I started at, but it was just the competitive spirit, and I just enjoyed sports. So whether it was basketball, wrestling, volleyball, the 3 key were obviously baseball, football, and hockey. So
now, did you start football at a young age too?
Yeah.
Really? Even in Canada? I guess they do have it at a young age. Yeah, that's
kind of interfered a little bit with hockey, because you go late fall for football. The season was obviously shorter, but hockey would kind of start, towards the end of your football season. So there was always conflicts, but
got it.
You were allowed to do that back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. And then baseball too. Which would be the off season.
Spring, summer.
That was pretty normal.
And there was no spring hockey back when I played.
Okay, yeah, there wasn't. Oh, yeah. Now it's impossible. They cannot play. It's hard for someone to play baseball.
Well, some do, and I encourage it, to be honest. I think you want to be an athlete, and if you can do it, why not?
Yeah.
I don't think you need some downtime. Everybody preaches about being an athlete, but it's tough to find the time to do it. Right? Yeah. Hockey's pretty much turned into a 12-month-a-year program.
Who was that player? Bo Jackson? Was that Bo Jackson that played 2 sports?
Oh, Michael Jordan did too.
Right? Oh, Michael Jordan. Yeah.
He tried. He wasn't as strong as Bo was, but
yeah.
But yeah, Bo Jackson played football and baseball.
That's amazing. So talk to us about when you played minor sports in hockey. Let's talk hockey. What was your highest moment, your best moment ever?
In hockey? You know what? Probably when I started coaching.
Okay. To be honest. Really? So it wasn't when you were playing, it's when you started coaching?
No, I don't think I realized, and this will lead into why I became an agent, but it wasn't cool to be vulnerable. It wasn't cool.
Exactly.
Right? Not a lot of us had mentors and advocates, and there wasn't really agents around. So
it wasn't even cool for people that knew that you worked out.
No,
it had to be all natural.
Yeah, exactly. So I think when it, for football, for me, it was instinctual.
Yeah.
And it was more of an aggressive sport. You just went and worked on instincts, where hockey and baseball, you had to be analytical.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I think my anxiety in those, I liked the sports, but the anxiety stressed me.
Really? So talk to me about that. So So what was the anxiety? Was it from having to be successful, or where did that come from?
I never thought I was good. I mean, there's always dressing room banter, and I wasn't an offensive defenseman.
Okay.
You know, I made a good first pass. I could skate, which I didn't realize how good I could skate. I was very physical. And really I was more of a shutdown. I think if I would have had the confidence to try more offensively, I would have.
Yeah.
But the banter really affected. So guys would chirp me for not scoring goals.
Okay, and that kind of stuck in the head.
Kind of stuck in the head, right?
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I look back and I wonder still, because I look at all the guys I played with, and you know what? I followed football and it worked out great and got back into hockey, but I still regret not having the confidence to be vulnerable with somebody and have that mentor and advocate for to really tell me, no, this is what you do well.
Yes.
All right. So that was the biggest challenge for me.
There wasn't a lot of mentors back then, though.
No, there wasn't. No.
Like were you around any hockey players that had played, say, in the National Hockey League at very high levels?
Summer ice was a lot different back then. So Walt Podubny was my best friend.
He was a good player.
Yeah, Thunder Bay had a ton of good hockey.
Yeah.
Right. So there'd be summer ice, and you'd skate with a bunch of pros and junior guys. And at the time they were friends and buddies, so you didn't really worry about it.
Yeah.
Because it was just fun. Yeah. But training was so much different back then.
Yeah, it was.
Than it is now. It's way more specific in detail, and, choreographed. So I mean, off season for those pros was strictly that.
Got it. What was your highest point in football?
Probably having the ability to go to Blue Bombers camp.
Really? Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
Yeah. So that was probably the highlight for me.
What was your biggest success at camp there?
Sacking the quarterback.
Nice.
But the very next play on the kickoff, the quarterback got me back.
What did he do?
He crushed me.
The quarterback did.
Yeah, they kept him out because they kind of sallied after. And,
but he wanted revenge.
Yeah, he wanted revenge, so he blindsided me on the kickoff. So
no.
Yeah, I stayed out for the return. And
did he say anything to you after that?
Oh yeah.
What did he say?
I can't remember, but I mean, it was a chirp. I can't say it on camera.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Baseball. What's your highest point in baseball?
Baseball was similar to hockey. So I would, I'd get in my own head and I'd just worry about too much stuff, and it would affect my game. So I think that's why I ended up, chasing football like I did, just because, like I said, it was more instinctual and just pure emotion. Right?
Yeah.
Where both baseball and hockey, there's more of a thought process. Right?
Okay.
So that's what I could be wrong, but ultimately that's the way I look at it now.
Yeah.
That I've been through it as a coach and everything else I've done in the game, but I still regret it. Right. I wish I would have believed in my abilities, because who knows how things would have worked out.
It's everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe that our future creates our present. Our future creates our present. What I mean is the clear picture we see of ourselves in the future determines the actions we take in the present, which then makes our future a lot more powerful.
Right.
And as athletes, like I didn't believe, like when I was drafted by New Jersey, I thought, I don't have a chance. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
It's the power of the mind.
Power of the mind. But the worst part is you didn't want to tell anybody.
I know.
So we just build up this anxiety inside you, and eventually you just crack. Right. And that's, even today I encourage, this summer I did a camp, our spring development camp, and one of the speakers couldn't show up. So I talked about vulnerability, and I told a little bit of my story to my guys. And I think being vulnerable is leadership.
It is.
I truly do. And if you can trust somebody and be vulnerable, I think that's a step. And I think it builds your confidence when you actually speak about it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. To know that you can talk about it and still be there, be accepted, do what you're doing.
Yeah. People still judge, but ultimately, having the experiences I have, that was the one thing that I hated, was that people were going to judge you. I worry too much about other stuff.
Well, then that's the other key thing now, is that it's none of our business what anyone thinks of us.
No,
it's none of our business. It does nothing. And I always say, would you rather, let's say you're an athlete, you're playing a sport, whether you're playing football or hockey or baseball, would you rather be not as good, but in your mind you think people think you are freaking phenomenal, or maybe you're better, but in your mind you think people don't think you're that good? So of those two athletes, which one's going to progress the most?
One that doesn't care what others think.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. Exactly.
And you apply that later in life. I think it comes with maturity, but whether it's hockey or sport or business, I think having a mentor is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. What was your lowest point in hockey?
I don't know. I think I wouldn't say it was hockey in general. It was essentially when the athlete part of me I knew was done. So everybody's goal is to be a professional athlete, right? So I continued to play all three sports into my 20s and actually continued on playing baseball and stuff. Not so much baseball, more softball, but I continued to play because I've always been very competitive. When I got hurt the last time and broke my leg, blew my knee, that I knew it was kind of done. So that was probably the lowest point, knowing that I probably wasn't going to.
How'd you break the leg?
Sacked quarterback, and lineman fell on me and broke my ankle.
Uncontrollable. Yeah.
So just out of my control. So.
And that's a pretty big injury for a football player, a broken leg.
Yeah, broke my leg and tore my meniscus. So I was 23 at the time. So I realized at that point I wasn't, football wasn't for me. So I had to figure out, and I didn't have a backup plan. So that was the tough part.
Okay. Wow. So based on your experience in hockey, baseball, football, what's the biggest advice you would give to a young athlete nowadays?
Well, I mean, the commitment level is huge, but ultimately, like I said, have some people in your corner you trust. Try to block out the noise from others and never compare yourself to your peers.
Everyone's got their own journey. Everyone's got their own journey. Now, how did you transition from that into what you do now? Like how did that come up? Like how does a guy all of a sudden one day decide, hey, I'm going to be a player. I'm going to represent players. I want to help players through their journey. How did that happen?
Well, that's a longer story. So felt sorry for myself after, the injury. And like I said, my dad was coaching and he basically I had no interest in coaching, zero interest.
Really?
And
what was it about coaching? Why didn't you have any interest in it? Was it because
honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Because coaching a team is not just coaching a team. Coaching is just a small part of it. A lot of it is like there's a lot of other stuff that comes with it. So
I was probably immaturity, not understanding what was all involved.
Okay.
Is what I probably look back on. So my dad, because he forced me, because he was coaching, forced me to go to him with his team to a tournament in Sault Ste. Marie and be on the bench.
Okay.
And then it switched.
Really?
Yeah. It was, and I wish I would understand it from that. I guess I look at myself as a mentor more than a coach.
Yeah.
Because I started to understand the game from a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
And I think it would have made me a better player if I would have got myself more involved at a younger age. So I was 24 when I got on the bench. And
okay.
Coached till I was about, 45. So
really?
I was an assistant coach under. So my dad, and there was a couple other gentlemen that mentored me as a coach. And I think that's the biggest problem in this day and age. Everybody wants to be a coach, but they don't understand what is all involved. So these young guys get on the bench and their heart's in the right place, but they don't have that experience. So
and the mentoring, like you were able to get mentored by your dad.
10 years I was an assistant coach.
That's huge. One thing I want to add to what you're saying there is when Canada lost to Czech, when Dominic Hasek wasn't going for them, and there was a big panic in Canada. Remember we had the Open Ice Classic big meeting there. So I was at that. And they did a round table. So I was at Ken Hitchcock's table with a couple of other guys. One thing that he said that he would just get mentored by guys like Claire Drake. And he named like 5 different people all the time. Boom, 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 boom. Then he said someone he knows, I don't want to say the name, someone he knows has all the manuals, all the Hockey Canada manuals, everything in the world, but has never elected to go on the ice with anyone. And he said he's basically a terrible coach. So I thought that was interesting. So that backs up exactly what you're saying.
Well, I think it takes a certain personality, and I find the guys that have to work the hardest to accomplish something make the best coaches.
Yes, yeah.
Right? I just do, because you gotta grind. You gotta there's so much more you have to take into consideration as a guy that's hanging on.
Yeah.
And you appreciate it more. And I think those guys give back to the players their experiences to help them through that anxiety. Not believing in themselves. It's that was the biggest part. So 24 and coached, essentially every level, and I scouted a little bit. I was an assistant GM a little bit, and ended up at NAIT, which is a college in Edmonton.
Yeah, Northern Alberta Institute of Technology.
Yeah, so got involved with a really good staff, and
so you're coaching there.
I was assisting.
That's great. That's good hockey.
I learned a lot from the head coach and the assistant coach, but ultimately we went 36-0 in 2000.
Who was the head coach?
Mike Gavinet, the University of Omaha.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So that was the experience a season like that, which probably won't happen again. And I'll be honest, there's a couple of games we should have lost, but we just, we worked, that team worked. So I have variety of experiences. I think builds confidence.
Yes.
And teaching or coaching with so many different guys, you take a little bit from each of them and add it to your repertoire, right? So,
yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And so how did that transpire to you being a player agent?
Well, it was funny. I was actually at a term in Philadelphia, and I was in the scouts room and just talked to some college coaches, and a couple agencies were there, and one of the gentlemen came up and said, just like how I carried myself and interacted.
Okay.
So he asked me, and it was something I wanted to do, but ultimately I had kids, and it's a job where you got to have time, right? I don't think it's fair to families to, me chasing my kids around in rinks and stuff and not having the time to spend with. It was something I was interested in, I guess you could say, and didn't really have the opportunity. So it was just by chance where I was. I was interested. My kids were a little bit older. Their son was, almost ready to go to university, and I was interested. I just look back on the mentorship side, and the agent is such a stigma. I look at myself as an advocate and a mentor. Is really the way I look at it.
Okay, that's awesome. And what do you love most about what you do now?
Helping the kids through adversity.
Yeah,
teaching them to be vulnerable. Talking on the commitment side. I live and breathe it. And like I said, I'm 53. I regret.
You just getting started.
Well, I regret it. Honestly, my decisions as a young guy, I just regret not, like I said, being vulnerable, having a mentor, reaching out. So I wonder, to this day, what could have been if I would have stuck with it.
Right? It's everything. What you're saying there.
Yeah. Hockey's hard. And at some point you're going to go through it. Most people.
Everyone does. I think everyone goes through it. The only person that never went through adversity was Bernie Nichols. I had him on my pocket. It was like, that was the only guy. Yeah, everyone goes through adversity. Like even Gordie Howe. I don't know if you ever saw that show on Gordie Howe, and even when he was in Detroit, you think like he'd be treated like king, and they didn't treat him very well, and went through lots of adversity.
No, it's that's the biggest thing for me, like helping these kids succeed and not have regrets, and whatever that level may be, it's it'll be what it'll be, but I want to be there for them and see them through the journeys.
So why KO Sports? How come you're with KO Sports? What is it that you liked about that agency?
Well, when I made the decision that I wanted, like where I was, there was something, I got to believe in something, and I got to the point where I didn't believe in it. So if I'm going to bring a family into a situation, I can't ethically not believe in it. So I had been doing it for probably 3 years. Some things had changed, and I had some opportunities previously because I'd done a pretty good job recruiting and established myself. So it got to the point where I was going to make a change. So I didn't tell any of my clients. So I started to vet some of the organizations that were interested in me.
Okay.
And it was funny because I talked to some NHL guys, some college guys, some junior guys, just to get that perception on these different agencies. And Kurt sent me a text one night, and I knew of KO, but I hadn't had interactions with him. So he set up a call, and it was funny. In most situations, everybody wanted to know who I could bring. They didn't really want to know me as a person.
Really?
And I worked for
that sounds like that sounds like that show Jared McGuire.
Yeah. It's honestly probably similar. So I I'd worked in my professional life for a Fortune 50 company, and so I knew, and I ran the business in Canada. So, you know, for me, I had that experience.
Yeah.
And it is a business. So Kurt called and actually wanted to get to know me as a person.
Nice.
And that's the biggest thing for me, is I want to get to know my players as people. And so that right away triggered my interest.
Mm-hmm.
And it was ironic because one of the people I was back checking on these other organizations told Kurt. So that was the connection, small hockey world, right? So then, long story short, I just love the philosophy. I love the diversity.
I just lost you there. Sorry, I'm a little slow sometimes. You said one of the players that was back checking told Kurt. Oh, one of the
organizers. So one of the teams,
one of the
coaches.
One of the coaches.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
One of the coaches.
Yeah, because I just, you know what I mean. Everybody gives you the Kool-Aid.
Okay, so
right?
Yes.
So I wanted perception from people at different levels on these different organizations.
Got it. Okay.
Because there were certain indicators I was looking for. Like I said, I owned a business. I was part of a huge business.
Yeah.
And, you know, been through that corporate grind. So I wanted to make sure it was something I believed in.
Yes.
And we were going to work together. So it was, Kurt just, blew me away with the first conversation. Not once did I ask me about paying my current clients.
Just want to know about you.
Want to know about me?
Yeah.
Right. I want to know about my family. So we actually had a general interest in me as a person. And that's a big thing for me, is understanding players as people first and players second.
Yeah.
So that was how I ended up at KO. Then essentially called each of my clients individually, told them what I was doing, and they all came.
Wow.
Yeah. Every single one came.
Everyone. Yeah. That says a lot about you.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my proudest moments.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So it was just, the approach, the diversity of our group, our infrastructure. I mean, there's so much more to it. And being part of a business in the corporate world, I realized how much infrastructure is important.
Yeah.
And we had it. You know, we've got, MBAs and lawyers and ex-coaches, ex-players, and just a diverse group, but our back-end infrastructure in terms of what we can bring to the table for a family is, I think, second to none. So
and none of your clients to say, okay, I'm going to come over, but they didn't do what the guy did on Jerry Maguire, right? Remember? He said, he made the guy yell. That was so funny.
And that may be naive, but honestly, I never got into it from the monetary side.
No, you do it because you love to make a difference. I can tell you do it because you love to make a difference.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I don't want a kid to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of players decide they don't have the passion for the game. And my commitment stays strong, so I still talk to those kids and help them. And they both took business, so that's my background.
Yeah, good for you.
Right. So I worked for Honeywell for, shouldn't have said that out loud, but 20 years. And
that's fine. You're not allowed to say that out loud.
No, I'm sure I can. But so I managed the country. I had a team of 10, and I ran the business from 2012 to the end of 22.
Yeah.
And I had the exact, no one left my business.
Wow.
From the time I was there to the time I left.
I think it's because you care about people.
I hope so.
That makes a difference. Yeah.
And then I left in September of 2022, and there's one guy left on my team that was there from 2012.
Really?
Yeah.
That says a lot.
That
says a lot.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that too. So
wow. Anything else you want to talk about or you want to go over?
No, you got any other questions for me? I mean, I could talk all day.
I know this is fantastic. Charm, any ideas, talking topic for us? Charm's a master of this stuff.
How do you know when an athlete is worth investing?
Yeah, we can do that one.
Is that a good one? You feel comfortable with that?
Well, yeah, we can do it. You can cut it out if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to change the question a little bit. So when you're looking at representing an athlete, how do you decide? Because I'm sure you don't just take anyone on. So how do you decide if you want to help them? And I know you want to help them anyways, you want to help everyone, but the fact is we can't help everyone.
No.
Right. So what's a determining factor if you're going to work with a client or not? Because there may be some people watching today that could be looking for a player agent. And so what's the determining factor or factors?
I mean, all these players are so skilled and competent in terms of the basic stuff, you know, the puck sense, the puck skills, you know, the skating. I mean, those are easy to pick up on.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is character.
Okay.
Number one, I look at character first, so I'll do background.
Yeah.
And figure out, you know, the family dynamic and what that looks like. Because if you don't have that character and the commitment, loyalty side of things, it's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get the few that skate through, but ultimately, character is probably the number one for when I recruit a player. So, I mean, there's players I'll pass on that may be more advanced in terms of their abilities on the ice, but I'll take a player that has stronger character over.
Okay. And for the listeners, what's your definition of character?
Commitment, determination. I got 3 kind of rules. Be humble, respect yourself, respect others. I guess that simplifies it.
Okay. Be humble, respect yourself, respect others.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Outstanding. I got some gifts for Jason too. By the way, you will have seen him. He ate some raw heart already. I gave him 4 options: eating the raw heart, breaking the board, to the glass walker, to the barefoot hike. He ate the raw liver. So I was impressed. He ate the raw liver. That was awesome. So I gotta make sure he showed that. I got a few gifts for you. First is this from my seminars, the Goalie Mindset Power seminars. You get a hat.
Sir.
The next is my book, actually, this is Magnetic Mindset Secrets. Right. So and it's got great stories in there of hockey players, Jeff Glass and all that stuff.
Oh, we learn from others. So I always enjoy reading.
Yes.
I mean, actually reading the Aaron and Patty.
Okay. Yeah, I bet it's really good.
Unbelievable. Yeah. One of the best books I've read.
Athlete Mindset Secrets as well. Until you read this one. I'm just joking.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Jeez, it's like Christmas.
I know it is. And look at this. From the seminar, Goalie Mindset Power, some eye shades. Eye shades for when you sleep. Right. They'll be the best eye shades ever. There we go.
Sir.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Take it easy on the handshake.
Oh, yeah.
It's great to have you on, my friend. You're powerful.
Thanks, buddy.
That was great.